What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to be doing top 10 prehistoric megafauna. At number 10, we got Argentavis. So Argentavis, giant bird, so lived in Argentina about 10 million years ago. So its wingspan was about 8 meters. So I don't know what the albatross's wingspan is. Not as big as this. This is like taller. This is a huge bird. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But you know, there are better ones coming up soon. Nope, no gapple eating for you. Next up, we have Deinosuchus. So Deinosuchus was a giant alligator. So it lived about 80 million years ago. So like the Cretaceous period, and it was about 10 meters long. So that's a pretty big alligator. Well, technically it wasn't exactly an alligator. It had some other differences, but it was basically just a giant alligator. Okay, next up is Titanus. So Titanus is a flightless bird this time, but it is also ginormous. So it was 2.5 meters tall, and it's also known as the terror bird. So if that tells you anything. It's oh, no, that guy just jumped right over and he fell off. It lived about 5 million years ago. Pretty interesting. Next up, we got Titanoboa. So, Titanoboa, giant snake. And, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I say that's basically it, but they're absolutely massive. So they're at, no. Okay, let me actually fight this guy. There we go. So Titanoboa lived about 60 million years ago. They were about 13 meters long and weighed like 1.5 tons. Is this the same person from before? Stop! There we go. Next up, we got Irish elk, or its official name, Megaloceros gigantus. Yeah, Megaloceros gigantus. So it's basically a giant deer or elk. So it was pretty big. So it was 2.1 meters tall. So, you know, that's pretty big. And but its antlers are huge. So its antlers are they're disproportionately large. If you look at the picture, it makes you question how they hold it up. So it's, yeah. And they live pretty recently, so like 500,000 years ago to like basically now in geologic time, but they're like cave paintings of Irish elk and stuff, so that's not like that's how soon or how recently they are. Not they aren't alive today, so don't go being Jurassic Park or whatever. Next up, in the top 5 spot, we got Entilodont. So Entilodont, also known as Terminator pig, are giant boars. They're about as tall as an Irish elk, so 2.1 meters. And they lived longer ago. They lived like 40 million years ago. If the word Terminator pig tells you anything, they're pretty scary. Next up, we got Quetzalcoatlus. So Quetzalcoatlus is a giant pterosaur. So pterosaurs, like, they're pterodactyls, so it's like a big pterodactyl, except it's not a pterodactyl. It's very not a pterodactyl. It's actually huge. So wingspan is, nope, why is there a ladder there? The wingspan is 16 meters. So there's a picture of like the Quetzalcoatlus compared to like a Cessna, like a small plane, and they're about the same size, but it's a bit different because it has a really long neck, so like the wings are like towards the back. It's very strange. So next up, in number 3, you can't go wrong. The giant ground sloth, also known as Megatherium. So Megatherium, it's related to sloths, except it was huge and big and scary. And it ate avocados. So it stood up sometimes. When it stood up, it was 6 meters tall, so it's 6 meters from like head to foot. So AKA pretty big. Oh, and they lived like 5 million years ago to very recently. So, number 2, this one is not as well known. I think it's really cool though. Oh, I'm getting wrecked. So, this is Arthropleura. So, this is a giant centipede. So, or millipede, I don't really know the difference. But, you may be thinking, how giant can a tiny little millipede get? Well, the answer is 2 meters long. So, this is absolutely massive. So, this is in the Carboniferous period. So, actually, it's really interesting how, like, insects and stuff could get so big. So, basically, the more percent of the air was oxygen. So, I don't know the exact numbers. Now I think it's like 20%. I'm probably getting this wrong, but then it was like 30%, I think. And so why that's significant is because insects, they like breathe through their skin. So they like how they breathe, they have like holes in their skin and the air can like go into their skin. But the problem is they can only grow so big because if they grow bigger, there's not enough like pressure or whatever, or like enough oxygen to push all the way through their skin and into their like where they need the oxygen. And that's the same reason why our next thing, Meganeura, could grow so big. So Meganeura, also a giant insect or arthropod technically. So this is a giant dragonfly. So you might be thinking, oh well, how this is gonna get very okay, yeah. So you might be thinking, how big can a dragonfly get? Well, not as big as Arthropleura, but its wingspan can be over 70 centimeters. That's 28 inches, so that's like more than 2 feet long. Or yeah, the wingspan is more than 2 feet long, so pretty big, like compared to what we have today. So they lived about at the same time as Arthropleura. No, that's the number 1. I mean, I did like an entire science presentation on that last year, so I don't know. I think it's really interesting. Carboniferous Megafauna, one of my favorite things about geologic history. There are also some other cool things about the Carboniferous period, like scale trees. Stop! I'm gonna die. Okay, like scale trees, which were the first like real trees, and there were like tons of them, and they all died, and that's how we have most of like the coal today. So I don't know. I might be rambling a bit, but that'll probably be it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.